Alright, what's happening, dudes? My name's Kevin Duty, and if you hear some banging around in the background, that's my dog messing around with a bone, so don't be bothered by that, just ignore it. Before we start today, I wanted to remind you all that I'm going to be doing the drawing for the giveaway on Friday. Now, if you look on the previous video to this one that I have uploaded, it is a entry video into the giveaway. So if you haven't already, you're going to want to watch that video to learn how to enter, and then enter. And I'm going to be doing the drawing on Friday. So I haven't decided if I'm going to do like a live event for the drawing or if I'm just going to record it and then post it. I'm not really sure. I'm scared of I'm kind of scared of doing a live because I'm pretty sure that I'll only have like 5 people watching, and that just it feels really awkward to me to do that. But I don't know. Let me know what you guys think. If enough of you want to tune in, then I will do a live thing. So let me know in the comments what you want as far as that goes. And what else? I guess I could show the knives that you can possibly win. I'm going to give 2 knives away. So we're going to have a first place and a second place winner. Second place is going to get this karambit style fixed blade. Pretty neat little guy. I think it's going to be perfect for EDC tasks. It used to have the ring on it. I cut it off and added aluminum scales onto it. So pretty cool little prize, I think. And that's second place winner. First place winner is going to get this cool Boker little kind of traditional style knife. Looks like a slip joint, but it is actually a lock back. You've got 2 blades, nice brass bolsters, brass shield, and kind of a maroon jig bone. Pretty cool little knife. So this is going to be the first place prize, and make sure you enter. Alrighty. So today we are going to be talking about the Benchmade Mini Adamas. Now I've been carrying this almost every day for almost exactly a month. So I feel like now I have the knowledge and experience to give a proper review on this thing. I've used it quite a lot, and I wouldn't say that I've abused it, but I've put it through its paces pretty well, I think. So yeah, let's talk about it. This is a pretty cool little knife. So let's do it. The blade length is 3.25 inches or 3 1/4 inches. If you're new to the channel, I like to read the specs from the website, which they give measurements in decimals. But for me, it helps to visualize lengths in fractions. So I usually read the decimal lengths from the website, and then I get my ruler out and I'll tell you, hey, it's about 3 1/4 inches. That just helps me, visualize the length of things, and hopefully that helps you out too. So let's check the overall length. It is 7.62 inches, and that is roughly 7.5, maybe 7 5/8, roughly. We have a blade thickness of 0.14 inches. It's a thick boy. And we have a weight of 4.6 ounces. So it is pretty hefty. We're looking at a blade steel material of CPM Crewwear. And it's advertised on the Benchmade site as hardened to 63 to 65 HRC. Now this is my first experience with Crewwear, and I'd say overall I am pretty impressed. I did have a slight rolling issue when I decided to kind of give this thing a good whack, a couple good whacks on a 2x4. When I was finished, I noticed one pretty significant, I wouldn't call it a chip, but it was a pretty significant roll, and then another less significant roll, which I was able to sharpen out, but it was a little surprising. I wasn't going ham on this 2x4. I was just giving it a couple good whacks. So that was a little surprising. Since this is my first experience with Crewwear, I don't know really how well it is supposed to perform. I know that it is supposed to be a great steel, and you know, I paid, for me, a lot of money for this knife. I think I paid like around $260. So I was expecting it to hold up a bit better than that, but let me know in the comments, you know, if I'm accurate in saying that it shouldn't have rolled like that. So yeah, let me know if you have more experience with crewwear than I do. Let me know if I'm off base with that assessment. We have a nicely shaped drop point blade. Got a little fuller running down the blade there. It doesn't serve much of a purpose. You can't get to it to do any reverse flicking, so it's really just for looks. I do like the blade shape. I like this nice little swedge here. I like that we have a bit of a thumb ramp here to brace yourself against. Let's see. Ergos are pretty good. I would say I feel a little cramped when I try to put my thumb up here. Naturally, when I'm grasping the blade, I kind of want my thumb to be more up in this area, which is fine. You know, it's still pretty comfortable up there, but having this thumb ramp and jimping so far to the back of the knife, right where it is, it's just kind of, it makes me feel a little cramped. And I could always scoot back like this, but yeah. If I'm not trying to put my thumb on the blade, this is a really comfortable knife. We've got some you know, a nice groove here. I do like that this kind of comes out and it makes you feel real locked into the blade, you know, both forward and backward. So ergonomics, pretty good. The clip is honestly one of my favorite things about the knife, and I know that sounds weird to say maybe, but I really love this clip. It's a nice deep carry clip. Love the shape of it. It goes in and out of the pocket easily, and I really love the finish on it. I'm not sure if you can appreciate it as much through the camera, but it has a really cool kind of stone washing kind of effect to it, which hides scratches very easily, and I just think it looks great also. Before we go any further, let's do some size comparisons against the bug out. There you go. Some Spydercos. We got the usuals, Manix 2 and PM2. There you go. Smaller than both of those. And then let's do something a little different. Let's check out the Civivi Praxis and the Demco 80-20.5. Very similar in size to the 80-20.5. Similar aesthetics too, actually. You know, I didn't really realize that till right now. But these are, as far as design goes and aesthetics, these are pretty similar looking knives. We've got that kind of protruding little dealy bobs here and on the rear. Pretty similar style drop point blades. Similar in size. Not similar in thickness at all. The Mini Adamas is much thicker, much broader. So if you have an 80-20.5 and you like those ergonomics, just picture those, but beefier, but thicker. Alright, let's talk about the action. Now, this knife is featuring Benchmade's Axis Lock, which, if you don't know, is a pretty good way to lock out a knife. It's completely ambidextrous. To close the knife, you simply pull back on these two tabs, which in turn pull a bar out of the way, out of the tang of the blade, causing it to close. As soon as you pull down those tabs, it swings freely. So you can see if I hold them down, this blade is completely free swinging. And I gotta say, it is completely free swinging. I mean, you can't get any more free swinging than that. Now, compared to my bug out, which has the same lock on it, it is not very free swinging. It is free swinging, but it is not nearly as smooth. And that's pretty impressive, I think, for running on phosphor bronze washers, not bearings. So that, to me, that's pretty impressive. The downside in this particular knife to having the access lock is you don't really get a good detent. Typically on a knife you will have a lock bar giving pressure onto the blade, and there's a little ball that kind of rides along the blade as it opens and then falls into a hole once it closes, and that keeps the knife shut. When you are flicking out the knife, the reason you can get it to pop open is because you're putting pressure on that ball in the hole, and then when it finally breaks free, the knife pops out because you have that pressure built up on the blade. Now with the access lock, there is no detent ball, and there is some pressure holding the blade in, but it's not a crisp kind of clicking that you would get with a detent ball. You can see this. So all that to say, you go to flick this knife and it kind of feels sluggish. It feels like a weak detent. You're kind of following through with your thumb up here almost to get it to come out all the way. And that probably has partly to do with the fact that it has a large, thick, heavy blade. But I mean, compared to my bug out, this thing it flies open. It doesn't feel sluggish at all. A little more sluggish than you would with a detent ball, but still, I mean, this thing flies open. Again, much lighter blade, but I'm wondering what it is, and these are the only two Benchmade knives that I own. So let me know in the comments if this is a typical thing for having an access lock, or if this knife in particular just is kind of sluggish on the opening. So it doesn't drive me crazy. It's slightly annoying, I would say. I want this thing to just bam. I want it to fly open. And on camera, it probably looks like it is flying open, but once you handle the knife, you'll see what I'm talking about. So you'll just have to take my word for it. So opening action, a little sluggish, but I mean closing, this thing is, as soon as you pull that access lock down, it is going away. It is closing quickly. So that's nice. I really do like that. This knife has a good weight to it, and I like that. I like my knives to feel, substantial. I don't really like having a knife that's using maybe like this type of FRN plastic material. Just feels kind of light and cheap, to be honest. And this is not a cheap knife, but it has that kind of plasticky feel to it, and this knife does not. This knife feels very significant in the hand. It feels like a beast, and it really is. It is a beast. This is a shrunken down version of the full-size Adamas, which is a large knife. And I almost wish they would have shrunk it a bit more. Not in length or blade length, but in width. I wish they would have maybe made the blade a little thinner, made the scales a little thinner, and just kind of thinned it out a little bit, because I don't think it needs to be this beefy. I really don't. It's pretty thick behind the edge, and it slices okay, but it's just really not needed, in my opinion. I don't think you're going to be batoning with this thing. I don't think you're going to be, chopping down trees, or, I just don't think people are buying this knife for that. If they wanted that, they would buy the full-size Adamas. So those are my little gripes. To me, it's still worth buying because I like the knife. and I wanted to try out the crew wear. But you know, it has its downsides, and I do have my little gripes with it. Another thing is that the edge came from Benchmade with it was very, very toothy edge, meaning the grit that they used to put the edge on was a very coarse grit. So you would run your finger along the edge, or your fingernail along the edge like this, and you would feel all these tiny little, grinding marks or lines. So I put a new edge on it. I put not a mirror edge, but pretty close to it. And it cuts way, way better with this type of edge on it. And I'm not sure if Benchmade puts that type of edge on all its knives. I don't remember my bug out having that toothy of an edge. It did have a bit of a toothy edge, but it wasn't as severe as it was on the Mini Adamas. So, just a couple little things. About the speed holes, I don't know. It's just an aesthetic thing, you know. It doesn't really... I mean, it cuts down on the weight a bit, but I wouldn't say it cuts down on the weight very much. I would almost want it to maybe just be not there, the speed holes. I don't know. I looked at a couple pictures of this knife with some aftermarket scales on them, and it did look pretty good, but you almost think it kind of just goes with the aesthetic of the whole thing. We didn't talk about the jimping. If you hold your knives in reverse grip, it's pretty nice because it has some jimping on the butt here for your thumb, so that's pretty nice. I don't usually hold my knives that way, but if you did, there's your jimping. Jimping here, around the edge on the back, the rear front, and the up here. So that's the Benchmade Mini Adamas. Oh, one more thing. The Cerakote coating on the blade is holding up pretty well. You can see right there, it's starting to wear off a bit. I wouldn't say wear off. It's more just kind of scratched up a bit. On the other side, there's a couple little scratches, but it's holding up pretty well. So, yeah, there you can see it right there. So that's good. And like I said, I did chop into a 2x4 with this thing for a while. So, yeah, that's the knife, guys. If you have any more questions or if I forgot something, leave me a comment, and I'll definitely get back to you. And make sure you enter into the giveaway. Remember, we're going to be drawing the winner on Friday. And thanks for watching. Adios.